What's going on, everyone? Darkside Phil here, and welcome to the Week in Preview. Today is Sunday, September 11th, 2016. We've got quite a lot to talk about. Today I've got a mix of kind of updates and stuff for you on the status of how things have been going. I got a big update regarding the upcoming Patron's Choice playthrough for the month of August. I've got updates on Patron stuff that's going on right now. We've also got 3 big games coming out this week, and you, the viewers, are going to have direct input on what I'm actually playing and in what order this coming week, okay? There is a lesser-known game, well, not really lesser-known, but a lesser, not as interesting kind of episodic release coming out this week. I'll talk about that as well. There's a lot to talk about. Let's put it that way. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to cover. My schedule is shifting a tiny bit later this week from what it usually is. Let's just get into the meat of everything because I got a lot to address in this week in preview, okay? So first off, let's talk about what's going to happen in the next day or so before we get to the new releases and everything that's coming up, all right? Today, I played nuka-world, the final expansion to Fallout 4. I've been playing this since Thursday, and I'm still going. This is the longest expansion for Fallout 4. This is one of the longest expansions ever for a Fallout game that I've ever played, and it's actually incredibly fun. I'm really enjoying this DLC. There's just layers of stuff going on with the different raider factions and side quests and scavenger hunting, but also, you know, expanding and doing stuff and turning on the power in this big, great, huge theme park with all these 5 different areas that are completely different themed differently. It's really neat, and I'm definitely enjoying myself, which is why I've been playing it all weekend. Now, it hasn't caught on. In fact, it's a very small group of people who are even watching me play this DLC, mostly because most people don't care about Fallout 4 anymore. Let's face it, Fallout 4 was very hyped when it released. Within like a month or 2 of its release, the hype died down, and now people are kind of like, it should have been better, and there's a lot of heavy criticism about Fallout 4 and what it was. But knowing that this is my final chance to play any kind of Fallout 4 because there are no more expansions, I've really been enjoying this final one. So the good news is, I've been enjoying it, the playthrough is ongoing, and it's going to conclude tomorrow because I'm at the very end. Right now there's like 3 or 4 kind of side questing lines that I'm going to finish up with, more like finding hidden items and scavenging and stuff like that. I just got the power on in the park, which means I can actually go and check out the rides and stuff that I've wanted to check out for quite some time and I haven't had a chance to do so because the power wasn't on until the end of the quest line in the park. And there's maybe a couple odds and ends here or there that I want to do before I end this final run in Fallout 4. So, for those of you who have been following along, regardless of the fact that it's not a lot of people, thank you, because Fallout 4 was my favorite game of last year, and being able to experience this and interact with people and share this with people while I'm doing it is a lot of fun. It's a shame it's not anything mainstream, but that's life, right? Not every game is going to catch on. Fallout 4 did. Its expansions really have not. It's pretty much just like Far Harbor. When I played it, I enjoyed it, but most people weren't really interested in it. It is what it is. There's a little bit of, you know, downtime finishing this up before we get to this week's new releases, all right? So that was today, and tomorrow my live stream will also be the conclusion of nuka-world. So I hope you'll check that out, either live on stream or on demand on DSP Gaming. Tonight, as soon as I finish filming this video, the Week in Preview, and I upload it, I'm actually got private Q&A videos that I have to film for the patrons for the month of August, so I'm going to film and release those. So if I owe you a private Q&A video and you messaged me on patreon.com this week in response to my initial message last week, you're going to get your video tonight, okay? It might take a little while to upload and process, but you are going to get your video tonight. I'll send you the link. Also, those who did respond to my private messages over the past week on Patreon, I am going to get you your perks. I needed to wait to accumulate all that because I still had people just this morning. A couple people actually just responded. They checked their inbox for the first time, I guess because it's the weekend. And so now everyone that responded, I'm going to forward all that information to my webmaster. So whether I owe you the $5 forum upgrade so you can vote on the ongoing retro playthrough that's going to happen this month, or if you need to access to the $20 patron Ask the King section, because by the way, Ask the King is taking place later this month, and I'll explain that in a moment because I think there was a little bit of misunderstanding. Originally, I said it was going to be in early September, but about a week or 2 ago, I changed that to late September, but not everyone knew that. That's going to happen tonight as well. You'll get all these upgrades are going to be submitted to my webmaster tonight, and within the next 1 to 2 days, they should be processed, and everyone should have the access on the kingofhate.com forums that they need, okay? So a lot of patron stuff going on tonight. Once I'm done with all of that, I don't know how long it's going to take, Then I'm actually going to work on my King of Fighters 14 review. Right now I've got all the voiceovers done, I got the music ready, I've got the title card, artwork ready, I got everything ready. I just need to edit it all together in Adobe Premiere. Problem is that takes hours, okay? So I'm going to see, hopefully I can get some progress on it, maybe even finish it tonight. If I finish it tonight, great, I'll release it. If not, worst case scenario, I'm going to release it tomorrow night on KO Gaming. I think a lot of people are interested to hear my opinion of whether or not I thought King of Fighters 14 was as good as or better than Street Fighter V, right? Because Street Fighter V really had a lot of problems earlier this year for a mainstream fighting game and really didn't live up to the expectations that most people had for it. Now, in the long run, as a competitive game, so that's I'm going to be doing it on KO Gaming either tonight or tomorrow. It depends on how long it takes me to edit the video, all right? Now, if I do finish the King of Fighters 14 review tonight, then tomorrow night, I'm going to do a mini review of nuka-world. I'm going to explain what I liked and disliked about the DLC and as a final kind of send-off to Fallout 4, but only if I have time. If I'm still working on the King of Fighters 14 review tomorrow night, then I'm not going to do that, okay? So it all depends on how much time I have and how things progress. Now, FYI, in regards to this ongoing patron poll, there's a poll right now. I opened it last Sunday night on kingofhate.com for patrons for the month of August. They've been voting all week. The choices are, for a playthrough later in September, either Jak 3 HD, Banjo-Kazooie HD, or Crash Bandicoot 3. Now, there's been all this different reasoning. People have been saying, don't vote for Crash 3 because the Crash 3 HD collection's coming out next year, and Phil could just play it in that. You should vote for Jak 3 because it's been a million years since Phil did the first two, and this is maybe the last chance for him to even finish them. Well, you should vote for Banjo-Kazooie, because if you vote for Banjo-Kazooie, he can play that game before Banjo-Tooie releases, which may be next year, so it'll be good to have that groundwork behind to know where it came from. So, I could see reasons to vote and not to vote for each game. Right now, it's been pretty close. The last time I checked, which was last night, Banjo-Kazooie was slightly in the lead by a few votes, okay? But Jak 3 and Crash 3 were right behind it, so it's going to be a very closely contested poll, I get the feeling. FYI, the poll will be open for one more week, and that's why I'm giving time for these patrons who need their forum accounts upgraded to get them upgraded and vote over the course of this week. It's going to be probably like this time, maybe next weekend. I'll tally up the votes, I'll close the poll, I'll announce the winner, and then in late September, I'll schedule it in. That'll be the beginning of one of those playthroughs, okay? So, if you're a patron from August, and you pledge $5 or more, and you didn't check at patreon.com this past week, there's not much I can do. I give you a week to respond to my private message so I could get your forum account upgraded so you could vote in this poll. So please vote, alright? Now, one final thing, and then we'll get to the new games for this week. Ask the King, I just mentioned it. Ask the King is going to take place this month. It's going to be on Thursday, September 28th, 2016. Alright, so that's good, that's exciting, because I haven't done Ask the King in over 2 months. It's been that busy during the summer that I really haven't had a chance to do it. I'm going to be doing it at the end of September. You can submit your questions right now on the kingofhate.com forums. There's already a thread for it. It's been there for a long time, alright? I strongly urge you do. Or, if you're owed to get your question answered for sure because you pledged $20 in the past 2 months to my Patreon, the forum thread for that is also live. You should have access to what's called, I believe it's the Auspicious Patrons Lounge, and you should have access to that thread, okay? Now, if you pledge 20 bucks on Patreon and you don't have access to the thread, you got to contact me, because if I don't know, I can't figure out what went wrong. I have every month message people on Patreon expecting to get the responses so I can upgrade your forum accounts. If I don't get your response, I can't upgrade you. This actually happened to someone last week. I got an email and someone's like, oh man, I didn't realize I needed to contact you or respond to that 1 p.m. if I responded to another. No, you had to. And he didn't have access, so I'm going to get him access this week. So, that's the deal. Ask the King at the end of this month. Alright, now let's talk about the games, the new games coming up this week, because there's actually 4 of them, so let's cover our bases. First, Recore. This is the puzzle/action platformer that's an Xbox One exclusive. We've seen footage of this game over the past 2 years at E3, and it looks pretty interesting. It looks creative. You know, these little cores that are like cybernetic cores that you put inside these robots, and they activate, and one could be like a big, burly, strong robot that knocks down walls. Another one could be like a spider robot that climbs walls and helps you up them. Some of them have more combat capabilities than others. It seems like a really unique premise. How it's going to actually pan out to be a full game, I don't know, but just the premise of the game looks really interesting. So that's one new release this week, all right? Second new release, BioShock Remastered Collection. It's actually a collection of BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, redone for modern consoles. So much improved visuals, I'm sure. I don't know if it actually has the multiplayer from BioShock 2. In fact, I'd be very surprised if it did, because why would they have, like, more server support for this game that's really old? I don't know. But for me, excuse me, I'm interested in replaying BioShock 1. Here's why. Number one, I played BioShock 1 back in 2009 on my Dark Side Phil channel. So we're talking the dark ages when I first started on YouTube, when my camera quality was absolute crap, the audio quality was crap, and I remember when I was playing this game, it was the middle of summer, and I was drinking half the time. I was like in my condo having a freaking, you know, a daiquiri or something. I was half-cocked during it, slurring my words. Half the time I wasn't even saying anything. The volume levels were off. It was funny because I remember the first half of it was actually really good, and then after that I was trying to rush through it to finish it, and it ended up not being overall a great playthrough because of that, okay? I love the original BioShock, and I kind of want to give it a fair shake and do a full official playthrough of it that's not half-cocked and ruined by quality, so I'd love to replay this remastered version of it this week, okay? The third release is Dead Rising Remastered Collection, which features Dead Rising 1, 2, and 3, plus all the DLCs in a collection of games. Now, this is interesting because I have never played Dead Rising 1 for YouTube. I owned Dead Rising 1 a long time ago. I'm talking pre-Dead Rising 2. I owned Dead Rising 1, and I played it for like a couple hours, and I didn't like it. And the reason was number one, I hated the controls. I thought the controls of the game were very frustrating, and I just like, why can't they be typical third-person action controls? Why are they so different? I just didn't get it, all right? Number two, because the game is tough. I remember the game being very difficult. Like, I got to one or two bosses. I could not fucking kill these bosses no matter what I did. Now, keep in mind, that was before I ever played Dead Rising 2 or 3, before I learned a ton about the franchise, and before I ever did anything for YouTube. That was the year between 2007 and 2008 when I was trying to re-immerse myself in console gaming, but I was way behind the curve because I hadn't played them in like 10 years. So I sucked at every game I played, and I was just, you know, very frustrated. Even though I probably will still be frustrated at parts of Dead Rising, I think if I were to play the remastered edition as a playthrough, not only would it be entertaining, but it would be a learning experience, especially because guess what? Dead Rising 4 is coming out in December, and the main protagonist of the series, Frank West, is back, so it would be cool to see the origins of the series before I play the new iteration in December, alright? So I'm excited for that, and I'm thinking all three of those are going to make pretty good playthroughs for kind of a mid-September kind of a deal, all right? Now, there is a fourth release this week. It's a very minor one, though. It's Minecraft Story Mode, the final episode. I don't even know if this is episode 7 or 8. I think it's episode 8 or something like that. Actually, it might be episode 5, 6, 7, 8. It might be episode 9. I don't even know at this point. Because remember, it was supposed to originally be 5 episodes. Then they decided to do expansions for Season 2. I'm so confused. The bottom line is, I've liked the continuation of the Minecraft episodes. But because of what they did, a bait and switch where they claimed, oh, it would be one season and then it continued to a second. Most hype for it, like, is dead. Most people don't care about this anymore. No one's really, you know, when I play the game, I don't get a lot of people interested in it when I do finally play these episodes. And more often than not, they release these episodes during a huge release week with other stuff. They did it twice already this year, and again, they're doing it again. I got 3 other major games I'd rather play. Oh, let's release the final episode of Minecraft. So unfortunately, Minecraft is like the back burner game. I'm not really concerned about it. I'm not really interested in it that much. I do want to eventually do it, but I'm not doing it until I get through all the other stuff that I want to do first, all right? So here's how it's gonna work. Tonight, on my Twitter, right over here, @TheyCallMeDSP, I'm posting up a poll. I'm gonna make it the pinned poll on my Twitter page for 2 days, tonight and Monday. Alright? You need to vote in that poll. Do you want to see Recore? Do you want to see BioShock Remastered? Or do you want to see Dead Rising Remastered as the featured game this week? I need your feedback, and based directly upon your feedback, it's gonna determine how I order my playthroughs, alright? More than likely, whatever ends up being the leader of this poll, I'm probably going to do as my main stream on Tuesday. And then whatever I feel like I want to play more, I'll do as a second stream on Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll flip those. Maybe I'll do the same thing. Main stream the game that people wanted more. Secondary stream the game that people wanted less. And then Thursday, the same thing. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm promising you double streaming days. 6 gameplay streams within 3 days are coming, all right? And those are going to be the usual time, around noon Pacific time, my first stream, and then around 7 p.m. Pacific time, my second stream. I realize not a lot of people can attend that second stream because it is late, but hey, I'm cramming it in. You know, I'm trying to do as much as I can in the day, so that's how it's going to go. Friday of this week is weird because the bottom line is Leanna's schedule at her work has shifted around a little bit, and now she has to work weekends a lot. And because she has to work weekends, it means that we're probably not going to be able to do our Saturdays out. For those who aren't aware, typically what would happen is all week I work tons. You know, all day I'm streaming, I'm editing, I'm doing everything all day. One day a week, I take half a day, usually it was Saturday nights, where after I did my gameplay stream, Leanna and I would go out and we would have dinner together, maybe go see a movie or do something like go to an arcade or just go window shopping. Maybe do some shopping we need to do, grocery shopping, all the essentials. Basically, it's our date night. We get one night a week that we get to do this, okay? But because now her schedule has changed and she's going to be working a lot on weekends, it's not going to be like that anymore. So this week in particular, this Friday is basically our normal Saturday. So this Friday, there will be a gameplay stream. All right, depending on how things are going with all the games that I'm playing during the week, we'll see what game it'll be. But there will be nothing Friday night. Friday night, Leanna and I are going to be going out and having our night out because Saturday she has to work all day, okay? Which means Saturday will be a day full of gameplay. It'll be a full gameplay stream and then probably a second stream Saturday night, okay? And that's how it's going to continue on all week. This week is going to be one of the busiest gaming weeks that I've done so far this year, just because I'm juggling 3 games. All right, now, I'm going to play it by ear. I'm going to listen to how I get feedback from the viewers. And if people are watching me play one game and they voted for it, but now it's kind of getting boring, well, I see people play more of this other game, maybe I'll shift the schedule around. Okay, I like that. I like that I have 3 games and I have the flexibility to go between all of them. Now, once I finish some of these games, all right, for example, Recore is a new game. I want to review it. So when I finally finish Recore, whenever I do, there will be a review of that up over on KO Gaming. That's the channel where I'm doing all of my edited reviews and videos. So that I'll be reviewing. I probably will not be reviewing Dead Rising 1 or BioShock because they're old games. And the bottom line is, who wants to see a review of a ridiculously old game, right? Especially when I've got other stuff to get to. For example, Minecraft Story Mode, the final episode. I have to play that this week. In addition, next Tuesday, so a week from this Tuesday, that was actually September 20th, is the final episode, or it's the final episode. I completely misspoke. It's the next episode of Batman the Telltale series. Now, people really liked my playthrough of the first Batman episode last month. It was actually one of my, if you could believe it, one of the most viewed things that I actually did in the month of August was Batman Episode 1. People really enjoyed that playthrough. So I'm going to be doing Episode 2 next week. That's going to be a priority on that Tuesday. But outside of that week is free. And I'm like not exaggerating. There's nothing going on for that entire week, which means I could take my time with Recore and Dead Rising and BioShock and keep playing them throughout that week and not have to worry about, oh no, there's too many other games that I'm juggling, all right? And that's a good thing, because having 3 games that I'm juggling, plus Minecraft, plus Batman, would probably be a lot. If it was new releases, it would be too much for me to handle, okay? Now, the last week of September, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I don't know how much of it I'm going to be doing. Let me explain. The last week of September, the final episode of the Hitman episodic game, or excuse me, it's not the final episode, it's the next to last episode of the Hitman episodic game releases. I definitely will be playing that, okay? But there's also releases such as Forza Horizon 3, XCOM 2 on consoles, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog, or I think it's Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, and it might even be something else too. I think I wrote down Shantae. I think there's a Shantae game coming out. There's a lot going on in late September, all right? I don't know if I'm going to be playing any of those outside of Hitman. It all depends on what's going on with the playthroughs, because the bottom line is, like I just promised you guys and gals, I'm going to also be starting this retro playthrough, either Banjo-Kazooie, Jak 3, or Crash Bandicoot 3, depending on what wins the poll. So being that I'm already balancing 3 major games, and then I'm going to be starting a retro game, I don't want to promise you, oh, I'm also going to cover all this stuff in late September. In fact, that whole week might be all skips. I might skip all of those games, depending on what happens with the ongoing playthroughs that I'm doing. All right? It just may happen. I'm sorry, but it just may happen. It may have to be all skips, because It's those other games are what I want to focus on, and they're, in my opinion, they're more important, and I want to play them more than the other ones. Okay, so that's kind of the at a glance what's remaining for September. You know, the end of nuka-world, the review for King of Fighters 14, maybe a review for nuka-world, the 3 new games this week that are dependent on your voting, a review of Recore eventually. Minecraft Story Mode, the final episode, Batman Telltale Games, the next episode, Hitman, the next episode, and whatever wins the Retro Games poll. That's kind of what you can expect for the rest of the month. If there is time, I will do something else. And it does need to be said, the entire first week of October, there's nothing going on. There's actually no new releases until October 7th, which is the release of Mafia 3, which I am very much looking forward to after playing Mafia 2 earlier this year. I'm so happy I did. Mafia 3, I'm really looking forward to as a fun playthrough to start the hardcore gaming season right, because then after that, it's like, you know, WWE, Gears of War 4, the PlayStation Virtual Reality, Battlefield 1, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Last Guardian, and it just keeps going like that every week. Tons of heavy-hitting releases that I'm looking forward to. So maybe that first week of October, if I have time, because I wrap up all the other stuff from September, maybe one of the things I skipped in late September, like that, like Sonic Boom or XCOM 2 or something like that, maybe I'll start playing one of those during early October. We'll have to see how it goes. All right, again, I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver. All I'm going to tell you is what I'm interested in, what I'm kind of estimating, but I am promising playthroughs of the games that I mentioned for September in this video. Okay, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else to talk about. I have a lot of work to do tonight. Like I said, patron stuff, and then trying to work on a review. I got a ton of stuff to do, so I want to get to it. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been joining me along, even though the stuff I've been doing recently, I'll be honest, Deus Ex, Attack on Titan, It's all stuff that nothing blew us away. Last year was different. Last year, if you remember, late August had Until Dawn. An amazing playthrough came out of nowhere, right? A game that I didn't even see coming ended up being an amazing playthrough. Metal Gear Solid 5, that was a huge heavy hitter. Super Mario Maker, that was a huge heavy hitter. And I actually remember there was one other game at the end of September. So we had, like, through late August through September, it was, like, amazing releases and fun content. This year, it's kind of, this stuff hasn't been really great. It's new releases, but, they're just kind of meh games. They're not, like, amazing, blow-you-away games. I'm hoping with the stuff this week, people will get excited again. All right, I hope, because I really need more interest in my stuff coming, especially coming up in October with all the new releases. I need to get people back in the habit of, I got to check out Phil Kelver and the new games. I want to see the new videos from Phil. I need it. This is the end of the year. This is my big time for you know, business when it comes to gaming, and I hope that we can get that invigoration back, okay? That's it, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Without further ado, thank you to the following August patrons who made this upcoming retro playthrough possible. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you for all the new stuff this week.